All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in AI right now. See, everyone's chasing after the next huge model. But what if there's a smarter, way cheaper, and frankly, more future-proofed way to get world-class results?
And that really brings us to the big question for today. How in the world can a tiny 7-person startup consistently outperform AI models built by giants like Google and Anthropic? I mean, how is that even possible? Well, it all starts with understanding the game that most companies are kind of forced to play and almost always lose.
You see, for most people trying to improve a base AI model, it means doing one thing, fine-tuning. But this standard industry practice, well, it's a trap. It's a deeply flawed and, honestly, a punishing cycle.
Okay, let's just walk through this painful cycle. First, you've got to collect a massive data set. We're talking tens of thousands of examples. Then you spend a fortune, maybe millions, on computing power to fine-tune a model, and after all that, if you're lucky, you get a small marginal improvement. But here's the real kicker. Right when you finish, boom, a new frontier model from OpenAI or Google drops, and it's already better than your brand new fine-tuned creation. Just like that, your entire investment is pretty much worthless.
You know, Poetic's co-founder Ian Fisher puts it perfectly. He says it's like you just lit millions of dollars on fire. You're stuck in a race you can literally never win, always scrambling to catch up to the next big release. But what if you could just stop running that race altogether? And this is where Poetic's approach comes in, and it's completely different. Think of it this way. Instead of trying to build a faster runner from scratch, they build stilts to make any runner, even an existing one, way taller.
The core idea here is something called a reasoning harness. And this is so fascinating because it's not about changing the model itself. No, it's a whole separate system of code, prompts, and data that sits right on top of a base model, guiding it to unlock just dramatically better performance on a specific task. They don't compete with the frontier models. They're built to stand on their shoulders.
And this comparison just makes it so clear. Fine-tuning competes with new models, so it's obsolete almost instantly. But a harness, it leverages new models. When a better model comes out, you just plug it into the harness, and your system's performance gets an immediate, massive upgrade. It's future-proof, it's way more cost-effective, and it's basically a vaccine for what's known as the bitter lesson of obsolescence.
So, that's the theory. But does it actually work in the real world? Okay, let's get to the hard evidence and see how these harnesses are doing on some of the toughest AI benchmarks out there.
So first up, we've got the ARC-AGI v2 benchmark. This thing is designed to test an AI's abstract reasoning, and it is notoriously difficult. Right after Google published their state-of-the-art DeepThink result, hitting a score of 45%, Poetic came out just 2 days later. And using their harness, they scored 54%. That's a full 9 percentage points higher. Just incredible.
And here's where it gets really wild. Not only was their performance better, it was also so much cheaper. Google's result cost over $70 per problem. Poetic got their superior score for just $32 per problem. So why? Because their harness let them use a cheaper base model and still blow past Google's top-tier system.
Okay, on to the next one. Let's look at another benchmark called Humanity's Last Exam. This is a set of 2,500 expert-level questions that are so hard they're meant to stump PhDs in their own fields. So, just last week, Anthropic set the record with their latest model at 53.1%. And what do you think happened? Poetic once again swooped in and surpassed it, hitting a score of 55%. They are consistently snagging the top spot right after a tech giant claims a new record.
So what does it cost to get these world-beating results? Well, it's not hundreds of millions of dollars. The total cost for Poetic to optimize their system for this benchmark was less than $100,000. That's it.
And the team behind all this? How big is it? 7. A 7-person team of research scientists and engineers is consistently outperforming multi-billion-dollar AI labs. So the question is, how? How is this happening?
See, this isn't just about a group of geniuses manually building these incredible harnesses. The real secret here is that they figured out how to automate the process of discovery itself. At the very heart of Poetic is their metasystem. You can think of it as a recursively self-improving AI. Its job isn't to solve problems directly. No, its job is to automatically build the best possible harness for any given problem. It discovers the perfect mix of code, prompts, and data. These reasoning strategies that a human might never even think to try.
And this right here is why it's a completely different way of thinking. You know, a lot of people are working on optimizing prompts,
And that helps, for sure. But as Poetic found, that only gets you a small piece of the pie, maybe like a 5% performance gain. The real jump, the thing that takes you from a 5% gain to a 95% gain on a really hard problem, that comes from the code-based reasoning strategies that this meta system discovers.
So let's bring this all home. What does this new approach really mean for the future of building AI applications?
Let's just quickly recap the huge advantages we've talked about. First, with these reasoning harnesses, you can outperform the base models, and you can do it for way, way less money. Second, your AI systems become future-proof. They actually get better every single time a new model is released. And third, this whole optimization process is automated, taking human guesswork out of the equation. It's basically, as we said, a vaccine against that bitter lesson of AI obsolescence.
This quote from the source really just says it all. You're no longer stuck in that expensive, frustrating cycle of fine-tuning. You are totally protected from that relentless forward march of technology, because now that progress works for you, not against you.
Which really leaves us with one final big thought. For years, the AI race has been all about who can build the biggest and best foundation models. But after seeing this, you have to wonder, maybe the most valuable players in this whole ecosystem won't be the ones building the runners, but the ones building the stilts.